question is being raised that's as to how the government could come out and say that as far as the decision on the offset partner is concerned is not in the hands of the government, and Prashant Bhushan is saying that that runs contrary to the rules and the set procedures in the defense ministry.
Well, absolutely. That's really the charge coming in from Prashant Bhushan. He's coming out to say that it is the defense minister who has to sign off on the offset partner. That's his charge, saying that regarding offset deals, and I just want to read out what he has exactly said, as Harish Nair, our legal editor, has reported from inside the court, coming out to say that the government saying to the Supreme Court that the time hasn't arrived yet for Dassault to reveal the offset partners. So much for transparency. The government saying we don't know about the offset deals is against the procedure. For the government to say they don't know who the offset partner is runs totally contrary to the procedure laid down, since as per the procedure, the offset partner has to be approved by the Raksha Mantri. So very, very serious charge coming in here from Prashant Bhushan. He's countering really what the government has been saying all along, that this is completely between the OEM, in this case Dassault Aviation, as well as the offset partners. It is for them to select it. The government has no role to play. Well, the government, of course, can also counter this by saying that it is only the defense minister who has no option but to sign this particular aspect as per what the original equipment manufacturer wants. Clearly, of course, Prashant Bhushan trying to muddy the waters there, saying that the government isn't accurate as far as its own explanation in terms of the offset partner is concerned. Also coming out to say that several questions that have been raised, also saying that the centre secretly changed the defence procurement policy 2013 to suit vested interests. That's again a charge coming in from Prashant Bhushan. Whether he will be able to verify this or not remains to be seen. Also coming out to say that high-ranking public servants abuse their position in making a new deal without following the laid down procedures in order to obtain a valuable thing in the nature of offset contracts for Anil Ambani. The clauses of the original agreement changed to only benefit Anil Ambani and only Anil Ambani. So clearly several serious charges that Prashant Bhushan is making. Whether or not, Aditi, he'll be able to back up these sort of charges that are being made with some kind of evidence, or whether they will remain just that as charges, remains to be seen. But certainly some very serious questions that are being raised here by Prashant Bhushan, again coming out to say that several of these charges, like alleging that public servants abuse their position in making a new deal without following procedures, or saying that the defense procurement policy 2013 was secretly changed to suit vested interests. Whether Prashant Bhushan will be able to walk the talk on that in the form of documentary evidence remains to be seen. But certainly some very important, yes, and in fact that's exactly what has happened. A quick update coming in, Aditi, from the court. The Chief Justice of India, Gogoi, has pointed out certain mistakes in Bhushan's note, has questioned him. Bhushan says, sorry, it was prepared in a hurry so that it's ready by time the hearing began. Don't be in a hurry, Mr. Bhushan, don't be in a hurry. That's what the Chief Justice of India has told Prashant Bhushan inside the court. Very significant that the written note where Prashant Bhushan has countered the affidavit of the centre, the Chief Justice of India, Ranjan Gogoi, has pointed out mistakes and says, don't be in a hurry, Mr. Bhushan. Very clear, specific statement that has been made by the bench as far as Prashant Bhushan is concerned, because remember, Prashant Bhushan has been making a number of such allegations. The big question is how many of those allegations are really accurate and can be proved or substantiated in a court of law. That is really what will have to be watched out for, because in the past also we've seen that there have been a number of allegations that opposition parties too at that level, as a political level, have raised, not of course in the court, but really have those accusations been substantiated in any form by the evidence? That of course is an important question that remains to be seen. Remember, the court will look into the merits as far as the law is concerned, as far as the facts are concerned, and this point of time pulling up Prashant Bhushan for the mistakes that he has made in the note in response to the affidavit that has been filed. So very significant here. The Chief Justice of India has told Prashant Bhushan that he does not need to be in a hurry. Also, just before that statement, the Prashant Bhushan had actually told the court that the government's charge that the offset, to say that they don't know who the offset partner is contrary to the defense procurement policy and procedure, where the offset partner has to be ultimately approved by the Raksha Mantri, that the defense minister has to finally sign off on that particular note. That is a very significant observation that has come in as far as Prashant Bhushan is concerned. really, of course, whether he can substantiate all of these charges that he has leveled against them, against the centre, for what he alleges is impropriety to benefit only certain private individuals, high-ranking public servants abusing their position to make a new deal without following laid-down procedures. Whether all of these charges that Prashant Bhushan is making can ultimately be substantiated in the court of law will remain to be seen. So the hearing continuing at this point of time, but some very significant observations coming in, with the Chief Justice of India also telling Prashant Bhushan to not be in a hurry as far as whatever he files with the Supreme Court is concerned, Aditi.
Absolutely. The Chief Justice of India now pulling up advocate Prashant Bhushan. This after certain errors were noted in that official note that was submitted by Prashant Bhushan, and Prashant Bhushan agreeing that it was prepared in a hurry, and the Chief Justice making it very clear that there is no need to hurry, and that's a very strong message going across to Prashant Bhushan. And in turn, we saw Prashant Bhushan apologizing. So that's the latest update coming in from the Supreme Court. Madhav, if you also talk about what Eric Trippier really said yesterday in the interview that he gave, where he in a way also answered a lot of these questions that are being raised by the petitioners today, isn't it? Whether it is the decision about choosing Anil Ambani, whether it is a decision about not choosing HAL, or whether it is a decision to go with the Reliance, even while the number of aircrafts were cut down from 126 to 36.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Eric Trappier's interview, as far as the government is concerned, the government was putting that out as a huge victory for its own position as far as the Rafale deal is concerned, coming out to say, Eric Trappier specifically responding to opposition allegations, saying that he does not lie, that he has nothing to hide as far as this matter is concerned, coming out to insist that there were issues as far as HAL is concerned, and that's why they decided to go with private contractors, also saying that negotiations were on with Reliance much earlier. Of course, the opposition parties have time and again pointed out that it was not Anil Ambani's wing of Reliance, but Mukesh Ambani's wing of Reliance that, in fact, those negotiations were on with. But be that as it may, certainly Eric Trappier coming on record to put the record straight as far as several opposition charges on this issue are concerned, certainly, of course, was a shot in the arm for the government. Now, of course, with the court hearing that is currently on, what transpires in the court remains to be seen. Clearly, of course, several arguments that have been put forth by the petitioners, where they allege that there has been wrongdoing on several counts as far as the offset is concerned. As you've already mentioned before, the pricing issue too has come up in the court before, and also, of course, now the intergovernmental agreement itself, the conditions under which such an intergovernmental agreement is actually given out, now coming out to question that. But remember, several of these aspects, including HAL, including why they went in for a private partner, and of course the need to go in for a 36 aircraft as opposed to 126, all of these aspects have been gone into in the past by the government, have been mentioned in certain aspects as far as the affidavit is concerned, where there is a detailed note, in fact, that is over a dozen pages, that is attached to the 9-page affidavit that was submitted to the Supreme Court. Of course, several technical issues that have been raised by the petitioners today, Aditi, coming out to question the fact that there is no sign, no seal, no signature as far as those documents are concerned, and asking what the authenticity of such a document really is in such a situation. But given the fact that it is submitted before the Apex Court, really whether the Apex Court will take all of those concerns of petitioners into account, whether it will accept and will look into the charges that have been made by the petitioners, because remember, it is very easy to make such charges, but at the end of the day, in a court of law, one will have to substantiate whatever charges are made with adequate documentary or evidence otherwise to substantiate what has been said in terms of those allegations. And that's really where things stand at this point of time. While it is easy to allege that there has been some kind of inappropriate behavior by officials, or that they have benefited certain private companies, proving that really, of course, will not be very, very easy. And that's where, of course, the challenge will come in for Prashant Bhushan. Already, of course, the Chief Justice pointing out to certain mistakes that he has made in his note, and has asked him, and that note, of course, in response to the government affidavit, and has asked him to be careful, to not be in a hurry. To don't be in a hurry, Mr. Bhushan, is the exact quote that Chief Justice Gogoi had actually made, the statement that he had made as far as Prashant Bhushan is concerned. So clearly, of course, one will have to see how seriously the government, the Supreme Court takes really the allegations that have been made by the petitioners as far as the governmental role is concerned, and also court monitored probe that has been a key demand as far as petitioners Prashant Bhushan Bhushan, Yashwant Sinha and Arun Shourie are concerned, whether they find any kind of merit in that and whether they actually ask or demand for such a court-monitored probe into Rafale also remains to be seen, Aditi.
Right. In fact, it will be very interesting to hear what really will be the government's defense over all these questions that are being raised, Madhav. But if we turn around and look at the political aspect of this entire case, we have been seeing that almost it's been 3 to 4 months that the pressure has been mounting on the government of India. Now, when they talk about why Ambanis were given that particular order, also the government sources came out and made it very clear that the deal was set with the Ambani brothers. Later on, the brothers parted ways and they had no option but to go ahead with the kind of deal that was undertaken during the UPA regime. But all these arguments, all these defenses till date had really cut no ice with the opposition, specifically with the Congress party.
Well, absolutely. Given the fact, and that's understandable, isn't it? Given the fact that it is a massive political issue, the Congress wants to make this the Bofors moment of the NDA government. And really, of course, it's the merit of whatever it is charging or whatever it has said in the past depends really on what kind of action actually takes place. Whether there is even any kind of investigation launched into this or not, whether the court finds any kind of merit in the charges that are being put forth by the petitioners, by the opposition parties, that ultimately has to be tested in one place, and that place is the court of law. In this case, of course, the Supreme Court, the highest court of the land, hearing this entire matter, and therefore really the reputation or really the image of both the government or their words really of the government as well as the opposition certainly of course have a lot at stake over here, and that's why this entire hearing is so crucial. This is at least on several occasions in the past the government has been asked to submit affidavits, has been asked to come clear on several aspects. Now whether the court finds any kind of lapse in terms of the procedure or lapse in terms of the judgment or lapse or any kind of malified action as is being alleged by the petitioners and the opposition parties, so far at least nothing has come up. So really it is for the petitioners to come out and point out whatever they have been saying, substantiate whatever they have been saying in this court of law with the help of any kind of documentary evidence or evidence otherwise that they may have with them. And that's why there is a lot riding for both the government and the opposition as far as their own political promises, the political positions that they have taken on this issue are concerned, and that's why one will have to see what action the court finally takes as far as the Rafale issue is concerned.
Absolutely, and even as we slip into a very short break, another update coming in that the Attorney General has now objected when Prashant Bhushan started reading out from the secret document that was submitted by the central government.